Okay, so let's talk about horsepower and torque for a second, because the two seem to get confused way too often. And I think really horsepower is just an overcomplication of torque. Shouldn't exist. Here's what I'm talking about. So here's a typical dyno graph, right? You got your RPM down here, your power up here, a horsepower line, and a torque line. Everybody focuses on this horsepower line. They want as much horsepower as they can. And people seem to really don't care about the torque all that much, except when it comes to down here, low-end torque. That's all they care about. No, that's the complete opposite of what you should care about. Because little do people know, horsepower is just torque times RPM divided by 5252. Horsepower is torque, just with a bunch of fancy mathematics played into it. So what I think people should really care about, don't care about horsepower. Care about more torque for longer. Your goal should be to not have torque fall off and to try to carry your torque as far as you can. Because the way it affects horsepower is if your torque trails off, so does your horsepower. If your torque stays steady, your horsepower will stay steady. Horsepower is torque. It's just a fancy way of displaying it. So if you take your stock cam, right, okay, you put a bigger cam in it, all you're doing is carrying the torque further. That's what rises the horsepower up. See, that this is pretty simple stuff. Torque is the thing to care about. So in my book, who cares about horsepower? I want all the torque I can, and I want it for as long as I can.